Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, yeah, 너와 있을 때 I swear 제가 먼저 zero 폭설한 기출들 꿈에도 I wasn't aware 나만 빼고 넌 모두에게 참 친절해 배신감이 들어 단판이 태도 머릿속을 흔드니 ibuprofen 그만해 it's time to stop 승부욕을 자극하는 style yeah. 알면서도 마음이 자꾸 느낄까 아마 빠져버릴까 If you want me back I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded I'm like frozen 뭐야 모든 스트레스는 gotta let it go 했어 소개팅 데이팅 어플 다 깔아도 보았어 반대가 끌린대 opposites attract Don't know about me and you yeah we fell into the cracks Yeah 깎고 너네 no cap 왜 난 안 보여 what's happening 객관적일 수가 없이 이미 game white flag and waving fast Yeah I'm leaving back but 말해도 너만 보면 나도 내 맘 I don't know 이건 love a relationship 헷갈리기만 해 girl I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Girl, you cold-blooded Yeah Girl, you cold-blooded Girl, you cold-blooded Yeah, girl, you cold-blooded Yeah Girl, you cold-blooded Girl, you cold-blooded
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? It is the one and the only Sir Hale speaks in the building. It's good to see everybody. Guys, if you're just coming in here, be sure to hit the like button. We're going to have a pretty good show today. I think we're going to have a pretty good show today. Before we get into things, though, let's take a few seconds. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me pretty well? If you guys can hear me and see me pretty well, let me know in the comments. I want to make sure that this stream goes off in a classic way. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Lady Hale. Glad that you're here. What's going on with your love? What's going on with your baby? It's good to see everybody. I see 4 of you joined. Let me know where you guys are listening from. I am going to do my best to be brief, right? Now, of course, it's been quite some time since the last time we've talked, and there's been a lot of things that have taken place, some of which I'm excited to share with you guys. But before we get into this, housekeeping, everybody hit the like button. Whether this is Facebook or YouTube, whichever platform you're on, take a few seconds and hit the like button. We have to do this because we got to get these streams back into the algorithm. It has been far too long. And it's a reason why I've been away for quite some time, and I'm going to get into that in just a minute. But before we do, hit the like button, invite somebody to join. I think we're going to have a pretty good show today. Now, some of you have not seen me in a while because these last 2 years, I have been serious about taking my craft seriously. Now, when it comes to relationships, everybody is a guru these days. All you have to do is have a perspective and get a microphone, and you are now a podcaster, right? And so I wanted to do something different and respect the industry. And so what I've done is I went and pursued a degree in psychology because I wanted to make sure that I got qualifications for what I talk about. Not just me Googling stuff, but I want to be a voice of authority on the matters of relationship. And so I went back to school. In the next month or two, I should be graduating with my Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. And I'm going to keep on moving forward from there. So we're really excited about it. Yep, if you guys are listening, that's a hand clap goes right there. Really excited about it. It's really a humbling journey because you do something to expand yourself, and it takes some discipline to do it with a wife and family and work and things of that nature and ministry. And so we're really glad that we are almost at that finish line of something that I started a while ago. Grateful that in the next month or two we will be graduating. So I'm excited about that. Again, appreciate everybody who supported me and shown some love. I truly appreciate all of you. Okay, now listen, you may be asking, why am I doing this show tonight? You guys saw the thumbnail. Now, let me apologize. This stream, I was supposed to do this late last year. So some of you guys who are watching this are like, Sir Hale, we seen this flyer. Like, we saw this like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. If you have saw that, let me apologize. That was, I can't explain to you what that was. I kept putting the show off. I kept Monday, Wednesday, Friday, moved it to the next Monday, Wednesday. And we did this for months because things just kept happening with school and with children. And I didn't want to let this show go because I thought it was very needful. And so we are here. We're finally doing it. So we're here, everybody. We're here doing the show. We're excited about it. Listen, if you're tuning in now, let me know where you're listening from. We're doing a couple of things. Lady Hale, if you can, drop those links for me. There's a couple of big things we're working on. Now, everybody, when I take time off, I'm taking time off for a reason. And so what we've done over these last couple of years is we've built up a portfolio of coaching materials and speaking engagements. And so there are two things that I'm primarily focused on now. The first one is I'm going and I'm speaking at different nonprofit organizations. I am providing free 90 to 120-minute workshops for those who want to improve the quality of their relationships, for whether this is marriage or family or organizational dynamics. I'm doing some seminars on this. And so if this is something that you guys are interested in, or you have someone who needs something like this, and it is absolutely free. Like, I'm only doing 10 free slots. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think in this particular culture, we got to get back. And let's be honest, unless you got some celebrity or you've been doing it for some years, you got to start sowing and giving and doing more. And then you start to reap the benefits of that later. So we're out here, we're doing the legwork, and we are putting the information out here so that we can impact schools or not-for-profit organizations, so that we can see growth in their relationships, which directly influence the productivity of the organization. So we want to make sure we do that. So we've got it is a free workshop, one free 90 to 120-minute workshop. I'll come there with all the marketing materials. All I need is for you guys to connect me with the person who makes the decisions, and I will take it from there. It is 10 free, and it is first come, it is first serve. So the link will be in the chat shortly. We'll have that for you. So that's one thing. It is the public speaking. It is that aspect. The second part of this is we now do coaching. So I did some of this before, more impromptu, but now I'm taking this more seriously as a business. So if you are interested, you need relationship coaching, marriage coaching, and I'll be upfront with you. I am not the coach that you come to because things are just going perfect and you just want things to be perfect. I am the coach that when things are completely chaotic, things are completely out of control, you come and you get the information you need to dig yourself out of a relationship hole. That is what you come to me for. I specialize on the hard cases because there are a lot of people who are in relationships today, and they simply need the tools to navigate the changing terrains of relationships so that they don't just end up divorcing and walk away over something that's resolvable. So I offer coaching, and you guys will see those links. Here, Lady Hale, I'm not sure what's going on, love, but we need to drop those links. I want to make sure that the people get this, all right? So again, if you don't see it now, you can go to my YouTube page. You can go to Instagram. My link tree is on there. All the details will be on there. You guys take advantage of this. Let's improve the quality of our relationships, all right? I appreciate you, everybody. I appreciate you. Now, while we get into this show, why are we doing this particular show? Why are we talking about if you're doing X, Y, and Z, these things are inappropriate? Well, we're doing this because there was a lot of people who I see, most of the people who come to get coaching from me are doing stuff that is to someone who's been married. I've been with my wife for 20 years. It'll be 18 years this year. When you've been with somebody this long, you kind of know what to stay away from. You know what to stay away from. You know what not to do. And there are some things, some small things that metastasize, become bigger, and end up becoming a cancer to marriages and relationships. And I want to discuss those things. I'm going to start off with something very light, and then we're going to move to something more serious. And then we're going to have a good time doing this. Okay, guys, listen, I see you guys joining. Sorry, y'all, I can't type in. I can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. I can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So listen, if you guys are just joining, let me know where you're listening from. We're trying to get some demographics. I'd love to hear where you're listening from. We're about to get into the show. So guys, take your pen out. Give me about 45 minutes or less, and we're going to be done. But there's four key things that I want to talk about if you are doing these things in your relationships, you are ruining it, right? So this is not just about he did this or she did this. I want you to examine you. And if you are doing some of these things, I want you to fix that. And if you are not doing this, I want you to pass this off to someone to prevent others from doing these things that we'll discuss tonight. All right. All right. So let's get to it, everybody. So the very first thing, I'm going to play a video, and then we're going to get to this. Take a listen.
Okay, babe. In this video, I would like you to share.
Now, everybody, I want you all to pay attention to the communication here. I want you guys to pay attention, pay close attention. I really want you guys to see this. Good to see you growing out at the box. It's good to see you, glad that you're here. It's good to see you tonight. I want everybody to take a listen to just how this goes. It is very obvious, but I want you to take note of this this interaction between these are great content creators. They are real husband and wife in real life, and they're pointing out something that I want to talk about tonight. All right, let's take a listen.
There's something as we enter the holidays, the Christmas season, just a motivational kind of like speech for everybody.
I'm giving the motivational speech?
Yeah.
Why y'all know?
No, I'm putting mine down. Mine's going to be for something different.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy holidays.
He loves this time of year, Christmas. Go ahead.
Oh, we love this time of year.
Yeah, we love this time of year.
I just want to, encourage people that Jesus is the reason for the season. I feel like a lot of times,
because Jesus died on the cross for our sins. Like, he shed his blood. Like, he gives us life every day. He's the reason why we're here. We're living, and thriving. So, yeah, keep telling.
Am I giving the speech to you?
No, you tell them. That's what I'm saying.
I know this time of year is kind of hard for people.
Especially because people are like dealing with illnesses, family problems, maybe work problems. It's in school, students in school are, focusing on their finals. So you think it's going to be a happy, time of year, but for a lot of people, it can be stressful. But yeah, tell them, go ahead.
And don't beat yourself up if you cry, because it's okay to cry. Jesus wept, John 11:35. And if Jesus could cry, we could cry. So don't feel bad. It's your party. You could cry if you want to. And
now, everybody, this is a little bit facetious, but did everybody catch the gist of what's going on here? You saw her ask, her husband to speak. She asked him to talk, and he goes on talking. He's giving his spiel about what's going on. And every time he starts to talk, she starts to interject, right? You could tell that it is not that she's trying to be rude. You can tell she's not trying to be rude at all. But as he's talking, she interjects. This is one of those things in relationships that is one of the silent killers of communication. It is when you are having a conversation and you are so focused on what you want to say, or you're assuming that the other person is going to say something else. And every time they talk, you feel inspired to interrupt. I'm telling you, if you want to sustain positive communication and increase healthy relationships, you have to learn how to let the other person talk, right? Talk without interrupting them, right? It's not to say that you don't have any ideas that they don't want to hear, but what you do is you teach a person that your opinions, your voice, your thoughts, your ideas matter more. And so your voice becomes a priority and they just become, one of the background voices as you are the star of the conversation. This is one of those silent communication killers. And so if you're doing this, man or woman, it is important that you be honest with yourself. Now, for those of you who are watching, do you have a problem with interrupting people? This is something that I want you to ask yourself, and this is not just subjected to romantic relationships. This can be family, this can be workplace relationships, and it's even more pronounced in workplace because it is true, it is statistically true that people with more dominant personalities, Lady Hale, check your text message. It is in the workplace dynamics, people who are more dominant, and this typically applies to men. Typically, when somebody who is less vocal is talking, there is this proclivity to interrupt and then to say what you want to say and overtalk them. So if you're one of these people, whether this is in your organization, this is with your family, this is particularly if you are in a romantic relationship or marriage, you have to learn that when you are talking, that a successful conversation requires the participation of two people, not just exchanging words, but listening empathically. Okay? All right, so if you're interrupting, I'm telling you, you're causing problems in your relationship. Okay, the other part is to say this, one of the issues that I see often in coaching is that a person will get frustrated because the person is getting mad at them because they're mad that they are being interrupted. And so it is so easy to forget the main thing, right? So when you're talking, it's important to analyze and assess how you're coming off to that person. Like this is something that I don't think enough people spend enough time doing. When you're talking, observe their facial expression, observe their body language. Like take a look at how your words are coming off to them, because oftentimes you can tell whether or not they're receptive. If when you're speaking and their arms are closed and they kind of closed off, and it looks like they're listening but they're not receptive, you have to understand why that might be. Sometimes people don't open up because when they try to open up, they get shut down. And it is a sort of passive aggressive tactic, but it is something that happens all too often in relationships, particularly when people don't know how to communicate effectively. So here's your relationship coach telling you, if you are an interrupter, you're creating problems. And so it's some simple steps that you can do. The very first thing is practice not interrupting. Okay, this is not rocket science. Just practice not interrupting. Now, something that you might not know is interrupting is often a sign of either a person feels important or superior, but some of the less pronounced things are things like symptoms of ADHD or hyperactivity. So sometimes people's minds are going so quickly that their thoughts are just running and they're just trying to get the thoughts off. And so it's not always malicious when you're cut off. But just because it's not malicious doesn't mean that it doesn't still have a negative impact, right? So everybody, when we're talking, we listen empathically, we listen with respect. And for those of you who have a hard time interrupting, learn to start looking at the person you are with, because they'll show signs of being irritated or just completely ticked off. Watch that, okay? Okay, does this make sense to everybody? Let's transition and go to another point that I want to talk about. Before I go to another video, there was something else, another subtle thing that if you are doing this, you are ruining your relationship. Now, I was doing some research on just research on infidelity and came across this article or this journal on the National Library of Medicine and the National Library of Health and Medicine. And this is something that I want to get into because I think we talk about it, but not at the depth that it needs to be talked about. So obviously this is something. Yeah, so obviously this is something that we talk about, we deal with, but this is something that is deeper than I think we give attention to. So of course, infidelity is of course you cheating on somebody. That is, we absolutely know this. If you are talking and you're engaging with anybody sexually, physically in an inappropriate way, I'm telling you, we already know. Listen, huge red flag on the play. I don't even think we need to spend a lot of time discussing this part. But what I really want to spend is not just the sexual infidelity, because this is a killer of relationships. And I know that in this culture, because it is so frequent, that we kind of like when we see negative stuff happen frequently, there's a tendency to normalize it, right? And so we play the blame shift game. So we'll see women don't like it when it's done to them, or men don't like it when it's done to them. Like, listen, nobody likes getting played. Nobody likes getting played. And my position on this now and forever is that if you are exclusively with somebody, there is no justification for stepping out on the person you are with, married to them or exclusively in a relationship. There is no justification. You can say we had poor communication skills. They weren't there for me emotionally. My needs were not being met. There is no excuse for stepping out and engaging in a sexual relationship with somebody else. I'm not saying there are no reasons, but if you got a reason to step out, you've got a reason to book a consulting session with a relationship coach to work on your relationship. All right. So listen, I don't want to spend too much time on the sexual part because I think we know that, but it's this emotional and internet infidelity that I want to spend a little bit of time on. Now, so when it comes to this emotional infidelity, this is one of those things that it's huge to talk about because it's hard to pinpoint and say exactly what it is when it comes to emotions. Like, how far is too far? What exactly is that line that says this is emotional infidelity? This is internet infidelity. Like, what are those lines? What are those boundaries? And so I'll give you a couple things that I think it's important for you to watch out for. The very first thing is if you are in a relationship and you are exchanging private thoughts, private ideas, intimate concerns with somebody, and you would be ashamed if the person you are with saw it, I'm telling you, you're likely committing emotional infidelity. Now, this is important because it's so easy to miss this because, again, those lines they're not exactly black and white. So I'm going to give you some practical things. If you're exchanging, I'm talking about from your heart, and particularly if it's the opposite sex, you are sharing very private details about your life. You're letting people understand your feelings and then allowing them to soothe your feelings that should be reserved for the privacy of your relationship. That's emotional infidelity. That's emotional infidelity. And you have to know this because sometimes those emotions, it can be so deep that you guys might not ever touch physically, but the interplay of emotions like that the depth of what you guys have exchanged can create a bond as if you guys have been together physically. So if you're doing this, and this is not just romantic, anytime you are sharing something that should be reserved for your relationship with somebody else, you are giving bits and pieces of your heart away. And what this will do, like, you can't fragment your heart and give it to someone, other than the person you are with. And then the person you're with, y'all still have a trusting, connected relationship. Like, in order to connect with somebody else, this means you have to disconnect with the person you are with. The thing that I see here with so many people is that they're like, we're disconnected. We're not talking anymore. Married people are like, we no longer have sex. We don't have good times. Well, it's very difficult to connect or to get the benefit of connection when you are actively given that attention that you should be given to your spouse. Or if you're in an exclusive relationship, you're giving that to other people. That's kind of like unplugging your iPhone and then crying and saying, I wonder why my phone is not being charged. Well, it's because you disconnected it. If you want your relationship to thrive, you have to stay connected. And one of these big pieces is you have to stay connected emotionally. Okay? Right? You know what? Growing out the box, absolutely. And thank you so much, Lady Hale. Right? Growing out the box, this is absolutely correct. These emotions, these things are so big because we throw out these words like emotional intelligence today. Like we throw these terms out here, and I'm not particularly sold on the fact that people understand the depth of what we say when we say things like emotional intelligence. Because if we did, we would understand that that emotional, that mental world, if you build a connection there, like whatever has your heart has your body. And this is just a fact. So if you're in a relationship and somebody has your heart, they have you, right? And so this is why it's important to make sure that we don't open up the gateway to give pieces of our heart, that intimate part, to other people, because that is going to create catastrophic issues for your relationship down the line, no matter how subtle it starts off with. So those of you who are watching, married or not, you have to avoid this. And how do you protect your emotions? Here's the biggest thing. You have to know what conversations you can have and who you can have those conversations with. Okay, well, guys, I'm giving you some world-class advice here. Like, this is not something esoteric. This is not something that's just enigmatic. This is something so practical. The way that we develop these heart connections and the way we disconnect when we stop talking, and then we make the wrong connections when we start having the right conversations with the wrong people. Govern your conversations. If you do not control what conversations you have, your heart will be everywhere. Okay? All right. Now listen, when we talk about these emotions, this is not specific to women, because I think we have preached this. Women are emotional for so long and men are logical. The truth is, if you have a human brain and you are a human person, you have both. You are a mixture, a composite of both logical and emotional. Your human brain is split into two hemispheres, one that is called the rational brain and one that's called the more creative or the emotional brain. It is the difference here is the interplay and what we rely on the most. And so I say that to say, just like women need conversation, men do too. I would dare say this. Most disconnections don't start with you seeing somebody. Like most times we disconnect in relationships is because we took something that what we should have talked with the person we are with, and then we said it to somebody else. So like if you're saying stuff to your therapist or to your girlfriends or to your guys that you should be talking with your spouse or with the person who you are getting ready to marry, then you are taking what should be deposited to make a strong foundational relationship, and you're giving it and you're strengthening something else, and that disconnect is going to be pronounced. And you'll start to see things. You'll start to say, like, I'm with the wrong person, right? I should have married this person. Like us, we're not good together. We don't have any good times. And it's not that you don't have good times. It's not that you're the wrong person. Is that where there was no effective communication, you cannot have a future. If you can't talk about where you're going, certainly you can't go where you're talking about. You're not even talking. So everybody, here's the first thing. Make sure, if you want to protect your emotions and make sure that you're not committing emotional infidelity, watch your conversations, okay? Now, this ties into the next point that I want to get into. So again, we've talked about sexual, we talked about emotional, but I want to get into this internet infidelity. Now, we live in the age of digital technology. Everything that we do is somehow online. And one of the things that I see is, now I'm about to get some of y'all, because some of you want to be technical and be like, I'm not cheating. I don't have private conversations. I'm not doing these things. This is not me. Who is he talking about? He's bald head. This Black History Month, but he's too bald. Saying any kind of thing. Maybe you are not actively having inappropriate conversations with the opposite sex, or some, depending on your lifestyle. If you are allowing stuff to be said without shutting it down, you too are committing infidelity. Now, this is when we get into internet infidelity. It is, so when we deal with emotions, a lot of times, and I think the science is catching up to this, emotions don't just happen when you are in person. This can connect very deeply with internet infidelity. But if you're not actively the one pursuing it, but you are allowing it, and you are with somebody, whether you are married or in an exclusive relationship, everybody listen up carefully. I need everybody to hear this one. Everybody hear this one. All the ladies who are watching, all the sweet ladies, the sweet Christian women, I need you to hear what I'm telling you. Maybe you are not actively in people's DMs. Maybe you are not actively, letting people know to reach out to you. If you are allowing inappropriate conversations without shutting it down, that's the same thing as emotional infidelity. I know you probably said, well, I can't control who inboxes me. I can't control what they say. You can control whether or not they feel comfortable with keeping on doing it if they know you're with somebody. Now listen. Sir Hale speaks. Everybody listen. Y'all talk to me tonight. You can't control what somebody does. If they want to reach out to you, and unless your profile is private and it's open for some reason, you can't dictate or control who reaches out. Like, you can't do that. But what you can do, you can control whether or not somebody feels comfortable enough to keep on pursuing you and be inappropriate after they know that you're with somebody. So let me give you an example. What's going on, Mandrell? Good to see you, man. If I have a wife, we've been together for 20 years, and it'll be 18 years of marriage this June. If I know that there is somebody in my inbox who knows that I'm married, and she keeps on telling me all the stuff that she could do and she wants to do, and how much she sees a future, and she's reaching out, and I say, you know what, I'm a married man. I could never do something like this. I would never do something like this to my wife. And I don't entertain it, but I keep on allowing it. And then every time I read it, I'm like, oh man, dang. She really think I'm all that. Yeah. As I am taking those compliments in, let me and my wife have an issue. Let us have a problem. And whether I say this or not, it's going to be in my mind that I've got something else in my inbox because I've allowed something, even though I didn't engage. I'm getting some type of encouragement. I'm getting some type of high, some dopamine rush from knowing I've got something sitting in my inbox that feeds my ego. I'm allowing someone else to think that they have a shot. That is emotional infidelity. That is internet infidelity. Ladies, the same thing with you. If you're with a man, you got men who are reaching out in your inbox, telling you how wonderfully beautiful you are, and you read it, and you keep on entertaining it, and they know you're with somebody, and you keep allowing it to happen, whether you mean to do this or not. That's internet infidelity. You're creating some type of feelings, a connection with what they can provide you emotionally, and that should be reserved for the person you're with. Now, this is not to say that people can't tell you you're attractive or that you're smart, but there is a respect line that people should not feel comfortable enough going too far because they respect your union. And even if they don't respect it, you shut it down because you respect it. Okay? Does it make sense, everybody? So, there's sexual infidelity, there's emotional infidelity, and closely related to this is the internet infidelity. What you allow, even if you're not directly doing it, what you allow to continue constitutes as emotional infidelity. Okay? Now, so to give you an example. So let's say you there's a difference between you kissing somebody and then you letting them kiss you. Now, you can say you didn't start it, but if you don't stop it, we know what's going on. It's the same thing with what you do. And we have to have relational integrity, but particularly if we're going to have successful, thriving marriages. Okay? All right, good. Let me give you one more. I'm going to pull up this video. I want you to hear what this lady says about stonewalling. I think it's a very important thing that I want to talk about just briefly. All right, let's take a listen.
In all seriousness, it is true. I was just saying something crazy because she probably going to try to cut me off again because I don't know what's going on. But on the real note,
stonewalling is one of those things in a relationship that can be hard to define, but you know exactly how it feels when you're experiencing it. Stonewalling is an emotional abuse tactic designed to keep you from bringing up issues, to keep you from speaking the truth, and to keep them protected from having to have difficult, uncomfortable conversations. And ultimately, It is designed to keep them from having to take responsibility and accountability. And I thought,
So everybody, that's a huge one. That's a very big one. Now it's less talked about because certain words culturally we just don't use very much. That's more of a psychological mental health kind of term, stonewalling. But I can explain it to you in just very practical terms because maybe you have done it or maybe you've experienced it. Stonewalling is when there is something that needs to be addressed. It needs to be talked about and it needs to be discussed. But whether this is you or the person you are with, instead of having a conversation that is, filled with respect and empathy and understanding and compassion, the person who feels like they are at fault and who does not want to take accountability becomes kind of obstinate and they become emotionally unreceptive to what you're saying. It's almost like it's called stonewalling because it is exactly like talking to a brick wall. It's like nothing you say is getting through. They don't understand what you mean. They don't understand what you are saying. You know what I mean? They don't acknowledge or empathize with you. It's like it's you start to feel like maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm emotionally unstable. Maybe I'm the one who is the issue because clearly if this was a big enough problem, they would get it. So maybe the fact that they don't understand it may mean that I'm the problem. And it is a very sinister emotional abuse tactic that people use who want to get you to shut up so that they can't be held responsible. You see, in relationships where maturity is lacking and emotional intelligence is not there, the goal is never to improve the relationship. The goal is always comfort. And the truth is in any long-term, any lasting relationships, you have to be uncomfortable for a while, particularly if you're doing something or you come with behaviors that undermine the integrity of the relationship. Sometimes conversations are uncomfortable. They are uncomfortable. And if you're going to be with somebody for a long time, you have to get used to it, but you have to be compassionate enough and understanding enough to get through it. We don't want to have difficult conversations just for the sake of having them. Difficult conversations often arise because something needs to be addressed, and it's an opportunity for two people to get on the same page and to derive a solution rather than blame one another. However, the person who is stonewalling is not interested in responsibility. They're not interested in resolution. They're only interested in their own comfort. And so if this means avoiding or denying what you feel, they'll do that because there's plausible deniability here. They can literally say, well, when I was listening, you didn't tell me. And in your head, you were like, well, maybe I should have said it better. Or maybe I could have done it a better way. Maybe, I should have said it at breakfast time. Maybe I should have waited till lunch. Maybe I should have did it at nighttime. Maybe I should have scheduled some time away. It's like, no, somebody who listen carefully. Somebody who wants to hear you will hear you. Okay. I'm not saying to be inconsiderate about the time you say it, but I want to make this point clear. If somebody wants to hear you, they will hear you. Even if it means like, you know what, like you call them and they'll listen for like, 3 minutes and say, listen, I can tell this conversation is going to require more time. Give me about 20 minutes or let me call you after 5 tonight so we can really hash this thing out. What they're doing is, even though they may not be able to have the full conversation now, because they genuinely care about you, they're going to make plans to sit down and to address the issue. Everybody hear this. This is important for you to understand. You cannot spend so much time ruminating about the treatment you're getting that you start to think you're crazy. Somebody who cares about you wants to hear you, and they'll show you signs that they want to hear you. Somebody who's stonewalling, not only do they not want to hear you, but they can't hear you. And you have to, if you're dealing with that, it may be good for you to book a relationship consult because that's a very difficult thing that hits your self-esteem, right? And it is something that will make you start to become insecure within yourself because you feel as if you're not being heard. Again, it's a very, stonewalling is a very sinister thing, but it is something that so many people deal with. So ladies, gentlemen, if you were doing this with the person you're with, if they're bringing up issues and you're quick to be defensive, you're quick to just be completely upset and just you give them the silent treatment, you let them know that what they're saying is not penetrating you at all, you're doing damage that if done long enough, it'll destroy the relationship. It will destroy the marriage. And it's important to know that just because you guys haven't departed doesn't mean that the relationship is not dissolved. Stonewalling kills relationships. If you're with somebody who you do not want to hear, I'm telling you, you're only delaying the inevitable. The relationship will disintegrate because effective communication is the backbone of any solid relationship. Okay? So stop stonewalling. If you were doing this, you need to apologize to the person you're with and genuinely let them know that you are sorry for what you're doing. And you've got to start putting parameters to ensure that you don't do this. Okay? We good, everybody?
Sir Hale.
All right, good. Listen, what is the Lady Hale says, sometimes conversations are uncomfortable. Absolutely they are. Growing Out the Box says, you don't have to say one inappropriate word with the internet. You just have to keep showing up right. Some are dating and the other does not know they are already in a relationship. That's a fact. You know, I've seen this so often. Like it's interesting as a Christian man, and I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, but I notice people who are very religious online. I mean, just they put stuff out there that don't necessarily need to be out there. A lot of times religion can be used to cover up, some of those unhealthy behaviors of entertaining, ungodly conversations. So this is important. Like if you are with somebody, what you entertain says more about you, and then it creates a negative perception on the person you're with, because it says that what you're in, it must not be that good for you to be entertaining this. And this is one other thing that I'll say. Don't think that you're so special that the person who's reaching out to you and who knows you're with somebody, they think you're so special. Typically, people like that are just trying to get whoever they can. And you just happen to be one of those fishes who can get caught. You're not special. So listen, you're not special, particularly if they know you with somebody. You're not special. To them, you're easy. Like nobody continues to pursue somebody that they don't feel like they can get. If you're with somebody, you have to analyze that. What are you doing to make yourself come off as if you're that easy to get? Okay? Like, don't take it to the head. I promise you, just with all due respect, you're not that special. Okay? Okay, let me give you the last one that we're going to get out of here. Are you guys enjoying this? If you're enjoying this, let me know. This is the last one that we're going to get into. This is something that this gets under my skin. This gets under my skin when I see people do this. If you are in a marriage or in a relationship, this is what opens up the door for people to inbox you and send you inappropriate communication. This very thing, I didn't even think about that till now. If you broadcast your personal relationship issues online, each time something goes wrong, I'm telling you, like let me talk about something that I have not talked about yet. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get off of this because I don't want to spend too much time talking about any particular wife or husband. A couple years ago, Tia Mowry ends up divorcing her husband and then goes on this tour essentially promoting her reason, letting the world know why she got divorced. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I don't want to directly address her. But I think she represents a large population of people who feel the need to broadcast their relationship decisions online. And it's one thing for it to become known and people run with it. It's another thing when you are the one who's pedaling the gas by going on shows and saying things about the person you're with and about the status of your relationship. I think so. If they got divorced, this is just my personal opinion, everybody. This is Ernest Hale's, this is Sir Hale's opinion. If she would have got divorced and she said nothing about it, She didn't go on any tours, no talk shows talking about it. She didn't say that I've graduated from my husband. If she would have kept it, if she would have kept it offline to the best of her abilities, as a man, I think it may be easier for her ex-husband to entertain them reconciling than it is now. Because once you put it out online that you done graduated, that it was the first person you've been with, but now you're looking for love again. Like once you put certain things online and you broadcast this betrays a trust that may be irreparable once you put it out there, because what you've done is you shared stuff that should not have been shared, and that bond that you guys had is broken. That 14-year bond is destroyed because you've invited people into a relationship, and then when people agree with your side, it's almost like y'all become friends against the person you were with. And once those emotions die down, and they will die down, like all the excitement and the enthusiasm you're getting about your decision, it's going to go away. Trust and believe me, it's going to go away. Guys, listen to me. You put it online, you get 300 comments, a million shares, and people are telling you you made the right decision. I'm telling you, all that encouragement, it's going to go away. And then once it goes away and you're left to live with the consequences of your decisions, and you really take time to self-reflect, particularly if you were with somebody and you guys broke up or divorced over no real substantive issues other than your own happiness, which changes, you self-reflect, you'll start wanting that person, because you'll start to see that when you think you can just go out and find someone else to just place them in this relationship, in this husband spot or this wife spot, and they're just gonna fit. That's not the way real relationships work. You're just trading one set of problems for a different set, right? When they come out, it may be different, but you're just exchanging problems. And in this particular case, I believe that if she would have kept it offline, like her, to the best of her abilities, and just maintained that respect, and if she did speak on him, she spoke on him with the utmost respect. I genuinely believe, as a man, he would entertain going back in good faith, and they would have something to talk about. But when you broadcast your relationship issues on social media, it is almost as if you create this stamp on your relationship that lives far longer than it needs to. So if you are on here and you have these, if you broadcast your issues online, and this can be in an indirect manner, right? Like this, you may not say, I hate my wife, or I hate my boyfriend, or I hate my husband. But if you're peddling things and there's consistent negative posts about relationships and negative undertones, people infer what you're talking about, right? Even if you're not saying it directly. So you want to make sure that you avoid broadcasting your issues, particularly your issues online. There's evidence, there's research that says that people who do not put their business online often are happier than people who do. So the most successful relationships post less about their relationships, and often the most miserable people talk about everything online. So make sure you don't do that broadcasting. Do what it takes to keep your relationship healthy so that it can be successful. Okay, guys, listen, those are a few things that I wanted to talk to you about. We want to make sure we don't interrupt. We want to make sure that we don't stonewall. We want to make sure that we're not engaging into any elements of infidelity, sexual, emotional, or internet. And we want to make sure that in everything that we keep our relationships private, keep sacred things sacred. If you want to cause issues, bring everybody into your business. Okay, everybody, listen, my name is Sir Hale Speaks. I am a relationship coach. I am the author of Do I Stay or Do I Go? I am a public speaker. If you need my services, you will find the information in the link, or you can go to my profile and find a way to connect with me. Let me help you to improve the quality of your relationships. Until next time, Sir Hale Speaks. We're out the building. It was good to see everybody. We'll talk with you again soon.
Let it go. 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 난 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold blood Yeah, 너와 있을 때 I swear 제가 먼저 zero 폭설한 기출들 꿈에도 I wasn't aware 나만 빼고 넌 모두에게 참 친절해 배신감이 들어 단판이 돼도 머릿속을 흔들니 ibuprofen 그만해 it's time to stop 승부욕을 자극하는 style yeah. 알면서도 마음이 자꾸 내게 가 아마 빠져버릴까 If you want me back I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 난 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded I'm like frozen 뭐야 모든 스트레스는 gotta let it go 했어 소개팅 데이팅 어플 다 깔아 또 보았어 반대가 끌린대 opposites attract Don't know about me and you yeah we fell into the cracks Yeah 갖고 너네 no cap 왜 나는 보여 what's happening 객관적일 수가 없이 이미 game white flag and waving fast Yeah I'm leaving back but 말은 don't 너만 보면 나도 내 맘 I don't know 이건 love a relationship 헷갈리기만 해 girl I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 난 겨울 Girl you cold-blooded Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 난 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded